I feel like Moses. Thank you, Kiva, Courtney, for having me. I really appreciate y'all. We just started to talk a few weeks ago, so I hope you like sushi, because this shit is raw. I also want to shout out Jeff Edelstein from that who connected me. Thank you, Jeff, so much. Appreciate you. So yeah, this is, I offer this as a call to you, which is a call to me. I want to take a deep breath and step back. Or I want to jump back and kiss myself. To paraphrase James Brown on Superbad, I Got Soul, meaning breath, and pause, meaning light, the divine spark. Jews call this spark Ayim, the eternal flame, which each carry a bit of and return to the source once we are done with this physical existence. Muslims think of it as breath, as ruh, the divine, that Allah exhales into each of us like a flute, like Eric Dolphy, Yusef Lateef, and Nikki Mitchell for all my jazz heads. I want to care for that spark, the divine breath in all, in each of us, care for it in others, which means I must also care for it within myself. So I want to commend you for your courage in being here today, to return to this work and reconnect with oneself and one another. It's time to gut check, to reapply first principles, go back and remember why we started building, dialoguing in the beginning. For me, it was the block I was born on. Jews in a sea of Black and Puerto Rican folks. Newtown was called on the north side of Chicago. My pops saved the neighbor's dog who was hit by a car. The neighbor was a general in a Chicago street organization called the Latin Kings. He blessed my family to have safe passage after that. And I walked a neighborhood over to my Jewish day school and thought the world could be a bridge because there was one in my life. Now, the far poles of extremism curl back toward each other, a purity of race or a purity of thought, both fascistic, as if there were no gray, no jumbled, messy, brilliant middle where there are questions and discovery, where there is patience and misunderstanding. We have been ushered into an era of radical unlistening. Social media is neither social nor media. And I am no conspiracy theorist, but who benefits from our divisiveness? I am struggling and reflecting on this today. Why are we so afraid of a conversation? Afraid to sit and breathe and break bread and build with someone not exactly like ourselves? Could it be we are afraid to learn? We might be wrong. Our view limited. Our foundation challenged. Everything we know or knew shook. Like when I found Howard Zinn's The People's History of the United States in the public library. Thank God for the public library, for public institutions in general, where ideas are free and thoughts are free. And I read, sitting cross-legged, that Columbus was actually on some fuck shit after all the sail the ocean blue indoctrination. Dude was not the one to point us in the right direction, really. And I was like, damn. So which way are we going? Today, I call upon our bridge builders, our peacemakers. Renew your vow to what you are called to do. There is difficult work ahead, and the world needs you now to show up in a big way and hold the humane middle. We cannot let the loudest shout us away from our principles or deter us from our path. It is dangerous to build, to reconcile. Listening can get you in trouble. Recommit to extending the conversation. Invite more people in to listen and listen and listen and talk and listen and gather. At Interfaith America, the org I work with and helped to start over 20 years ago, our vision is a potluck nation, where everyone brings a dish to the table with their own flavors and spices, their own style and masala, where we fed by the diversity of the plates by people unlike ourselves, the plates they offer. It is our job to build that table, to invite people to gather and sit and bring a dish to share and not poison those you are feeding. Our nation is not just the differences we like. There will be some taste at the table we may find off-putting, some awful, that's awful, foul by our standards, which might mean we might not have to eat it. But can we build a stomach for it? Or can we at least focus on the sublime key lime coconut pie someone's auntie made? There are radical differences between us, and yet there are universal moments and feelings and desires we do share. A prayer, a laugh, a hope, a hug, a desire to sit in your grandmother's kitchen with something warm on the stove. I call upon the storytellers, the peacemakers, the bridge builders to articulate our specificity in order to glimpse our universality. There is a small L in the liberal ideal that there, in this thing, we all want, and we all need, and we all desire and deserve, each of us, all of our tribes and peoples across the board and border. And I can't believe I'm about to say this shit, but I do think there are good people on both sides. And I think good is subjective and relative. And our work in part is to understand the parts and whole and holy. And that good itself is a false duality, as the Buddhist brothers and sisters have taught me. We are a wild spectrum of humanity. We are fluid, complex, imperfect creatures who obliterate the binary, who exist beyond the polarities. Extremists seek to keep us divided on some COINTELPRO type shit. But we are universes unto ourselves, each of us going through the known and unknown, isolated until we reach out, until we ask or talk or sit with someone to confide and not hide our heart or hand. It is dangerous to say peace in this climate, to build in this climate, and suggest our future is wound together, that we are connected, that we are interconnected, our being and interbeing, Thich Nhat Hanh might say. There is an elephant in the room and there are other animals in the zoo. Perhaps we try to gather and not talk about what harms us from Jump Street right off the bat. Perhaps we try to build, we try to bridge, we try to look in each other's eyes and see ourselves as ourselves, yourself a reflection, a refraction of myself. Why do you think the water reflects the sky? Or is it the other way around? People are not their governments, not the extremist groups that falsely represent them. We are more. We are much more. Now is the time to accelerate our work as bridge builders. We are the doctors of this moment, not the patients. We ask for patience to try to ensure shit like this doesn't happen again or at all. We want to put people in relationship with one another, diverse identities and divergent ideologies. We don't have to choose between these false dualities. I see you, I hear you, I see you, I hear you, and I too want to be seen. I am distrustful of those who do not show kindness and compassion. Compassion, a key ingredient to do this work. Our humanity is being lost in the encampment and balkanization of the polarities, but our imagination can think of a better world, a more just and humane society, a democracy for all. The town center is crumbling. We need to talk with those not in the choir, see them as humans with history. Get offline, get into a third space, the dwindling American institution, and be relational with people not like yourself. Twitter finger warriors, how easy it is to destroy and not to create. But our job is to build, or as I was taught in Hebrew school a long time ago, tikkun olam, to repair the world, to make it whole and holy. Assalamu alaikum, shalom alaikum, and make peace and peace and peace